are going to make an amazing make-ahead recipe with all of this fruit. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to another VegInspired live stream. Let me just scoot over here and lift this up a little because I feel like I'm bending over. Sorry, y'all. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I've got my questions over here that I'm going to answer, and we're just going to make sure that we ask all the questions that you have and figure out where we are here live. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Like I said, we're going to make an amazing make-ahead fruit dish with all of this amazing fruit, and I'm really excited. It's got a couple of twists that I want to make sure that we really dig into for you. So let me just trying to find myself so that I can, oh look, here I am live. Let me mute it. All right, now I can see the live chat, so I can see all of you. And we're here live. Hello, Jacqueline. Hello, you guys. I'm super excited. Okay, so today's make-ahead recipe that we're going to make, because I've already eaten dinner, because I wanted to make this a little bit later for all of you so that you could tune in, is we're going to make a really fun fruit salad. It doesn't have anything in it. It's all whole foods, and it has a couple of little twists that I wanted to share with you because it's something that I've found the last, I've been making it a little bit, and I'm finding that I really like these twists, so I thought you would too. So the first thing we're going to do is I just peeled a couple of these cuties, these organic mandarins, and so they're in small segments, but I just like to cut them in half, oops, so that they are even smaller pieces. So we're going to throw those in, probably do about 3, maybe 4. I'll see how much I have of the other ingredients. I find it easier to cut them when they're still, in part of where they're still together. And then we'll just separate them and throw them in our bowl. So this is a really easy make-ahead fruit salad that I'm going to be eating for breakfast. Oh, hey, let me know who's joining us. Say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I am coming to you live from Pittsburgh. We are about 40 minutes from where our Sticks and Bricks was. So if you have been following me long enough to know, that's Eddie. Sorry, he does dumb things when I'm on camera. If you've been following me long enough, you might remember when I first announced that I was selling my house in Pittsburgh and moving into the RV to travel full time. That, for those of you that have been following me that long, that was over 6 years ago. So if you're new around here, my name's Kathy Davis. I am a whole food plant-based lifestyle mindset coach. I've been vegan for over 10 years. I've authored 3 plant-based cookbooks, and we are making a make-ahead fruit salad for my breakfast tomorrow. I've been enjoying fruit for breakfast. It's a great way to break my fast. I don't intermittent fast totally, but I do only eat when I'm hungry. So oftentimes that means that I get a little hungry in the morning and I want something, but I'm not ready for a full breakfast. I was eating oatmeal every single day and I really loved it, but I've kind of just been feeling how my body feels in the morning and what I'm looking for. I see Dolores, hey, from Michigan. Hey, Dolores, I'm so glad you guys are here. It's so fun to watch you all pop in. So like I said, we're making this easy fruit salad. I cut up about 3 of these cutie mandarins. The next thing let's do that last. The next thing I'm gonna cut up are some strawberries, and I have my strawberry thing here. Now I am not saving these for a smoothie, but I had a woman tell me that she saves her strawberry hulls, the like leaves, and throws them in a smoothie, or she'll throw the whole strawberry in a smoothie. And I was like, that's kind of brilliant, because sometimes when you use this huller, you kind of waste some of the strawberry. She just saves it. So I'm just picking apart these strawberries. They're organic. They're on sale at Whole Foods. Normally I would put grapes or halved grapes in this. I really like the pop of flavor, but Whole Foods didn't have any organic grapes yesterday. So one of the things that I said I was going to do is answer some questions. So about, I don't know, beginning of the year, I sent out a survey to my VegInspired community. If you're not on that email list, just comment list down below and I'll send you the link to register. But I sent out a survey and asked what questions do people have about plant-based eating that I could answer. And I've been answering them in some of my reels on Instagram, so make sure you follow me on Instagram. I've been answering them in my email newsletters, and then I figured I'd answer some of them today while we're cooking up this easy make ahead. We're not really cooking, I guess. Well, we're mixing up this easy make ahead breakfast fruit salad. It's kind of like a fruit cocktail because it's of the way that it kind of comes together. So one of the questions that I get asked, and this is not the first time this has been asked of me or asked to me, and so I wanted to address it here. And I could do a whole video on just this one question, but I wanted to at least give you some starting points if this is a question that, that you have. So the person asked me, how do I stay motivated? Or how do I stay disciplined? Or how do I stay interested? Those are usually the three kind of questions or words that I hear is motivation, interest, disciplined. And I work a lot on mindset in my programs. I feel like that's 80% of the challenge is our mindset. And if you don't know, mindset is your collection of attitudes and beliefs that you hold. So it's yours. It likely comes from someone else, but you currently hold those as your beliefs. And when you don't fix your mindset or shift your mindset or change your mindset to one of a plant-based eater, then you are going to continue to go back to the same old habits that you had before. And so one of the things that you can do if interest or motivation or discipline is a problem for you, or you feel like you keep falling off because you're not motivated, or you don't have the discipline, or you aren't interested, like you're only half interested in plant-based eating, is to take a step back and ask yourself why. Why do you want to eat plant-based? Like what benefits do you want to see? What inspires you to eat plant-based? When I went vegan 10 years ago, it was John's idea. It was John's idea to go vegan. For those of you who don't know my story, I came in pretty much kicking and screaming. I did not want to give up animal products. I was grew up on animal products. Those were my beliefs. Those were my mindset. That was what I was holding on to. And when he suggested it, I was kind of like, yeah, that's a great idea. That's good for some people, but it's not good for me. It's not going to work for me. And he said, well, what if we just focus instead on eating more plants? So instead of going vegan, I became the person who just intentionally ate more plants. And then because that was my stepping stone, that was my attitude, that was my belief at the time, I allowed myself to watch some of the videos on animal agriculture and on veganism. And it allowed me to open my mind into new things, a new way of thinking. And so if discipline or motivation or interest is a problem for you, look at what you're holding on to that might be holding you back. What is that mindset that you have? Do you have a mindset that's held around old beliefs that maybe animal products are for you? And so if that's you, what can you shift? How can you shift your mindset to tap into something else? The other thing you want to do, so the first thing is looking at your why. Why do you want to eat this way? And the second thing is, what are your standards? So just like I said to you at the beginning, I didn't buy grapes because Whole Foods didn't have any organic grapes. I wasn't always an organic food eater, but I've set a new standard. I have a new belief about food, and I believe that I am a person who eats organic produce. And so I don't buy non-organic produce. Even if I really wanted to put grapes in this recipe for all of you, I could tell you, you can use grapes in this recipe, but there weren't grapes available for me to use. I could have bought non-organic, but my standard is to buy organic. And so I would challenge you, if you're losing interest or you're losing motivation for this way of eating, to really take a step back and ask yourself, one, why do you want to eat this way? And then number two, what are your standards for yourself on food? What is your standard? What are you going to hold yourself to? What are you willing to hold yourself to? A lot of times people come into this way of eating and they're like, I'm going to go 100% whole food plant-based, and they ditch everything in their cupboards and they throw away all their food and they get rid of all their cookbooks and they tell their family that they're 100% whole food plant-based, but they never actually ask themselves, do I want to be 100% whole food plant-based? Do I want to be 100% plant-based? Is that something that I'm willing to do and be? Right? I am 100% vegan. It is something I am willing to do. I'm committed to it. I don't eat animal products. I don't wear animal products. I don't use animal products in my cleaning. I don't buy beauty care that's tested on animals. I don't buy leather. Like, I am 100% vegan. But I would say I'm about 90 to 95% whole food plant-based. Most of the days of the week, I eat 100% whole food plant-based. But every now and then, there's vegan cheese on my tacos. Or I go to a restaurant and eat a veggie burger or a seitan sandwich. Or, I buy a vegan cupcake. I mean, that's my standard for myself. And that's okay. And that's why I always talk about your mindset is so important, and being able to distinguish between. There is a cat fight happening in my house right now. So if you can hear that, I do apologize. Archie's got Eddie pinned down on the thing. Hang on just a second. Can you leave him alone, please? Let go. Go on. Oh my goodness. Archie's a big bully. If you guys follow me on Instagram or you've seen my pictures of the cats, Archie's our I say new kitten. He's about 1.5 years, almost 2. And he's had Eddie pinned down on the ground. And Eddie's looking up at me crying. So I had to just save him. I had to rescue him for a minute. But when you're thinking about discipline, motivation, interest, it all comes back to why you want to eat this way. So when I think about why am I whole food plant-based, I am whole food plant-based because I lost weight eating whole food plant-based. I stay lean and trim eating whole food plant-based. I reduced the symptoms of my pre-type 2 diabetes staying whole food plant-based. I reduced the acne and the aging on my face being whole food plant-based. Like, it has changed my life. So of course, 95% of the time, sometimes 98, sometimes 100% of the time, I am eating whole plant-based foods that are organic, that come from the ground. Like, I'm not eating a lot of processed stuff. That's my standard. That's my standard. That's what I'm talking about. So if that's you, that is where I would suggest you start. Now, we do a lot of work on mindset in our Successfully Plant-Based program. So if that's an interest for you, let me know in the comments and I can give you more information. Or you can pop over to the VegInspired website and learn more. I don't have the link in the live stream video, but I can put it there. So far, what we've put in the salad, let me go over to this. This is our fruit salad. We have about 3 of these small cutie oranges that we've peeled and cut the segments in half. We have about, I don't know, half of a quart. Yep, half of a pound. I guess it's a pound of strawberries. Half of a pound of strawberries I've cut in here. And then I have, it was a pretty big apple. I did most of it. I might just finish it off. Like I said, this is my breakfast for tomorrow, so I want to make sure it's full. But I'm cutting these apples into slices and then just chopping them up, like rough chop. If I was making this as a presentation, I might, cut them again and make them a little smaller like this and really dice them into pretty things. But this is going to be my breakfast. I might eat it with a little granola. You could eat this with a little yogurt. You can, I am not going to put the bananas in right now, but you can chop up a fresh banana. So if you like, maybe I'll eat, I'm trying to think, this is probably about a 4 serving recipe once I put the blueberries in. So if you did a banana, you might do a banana and maybe a 1/6 of this, and that would round out the amount of fruit that you might want to eat in the morning. Now here's the twist. So, these are frozen wild blueberries, and you're going to see when I pour this in, there is like blueberry liquid. This is one of the twists of this recipe. When you use these frozen blueberries, it's going to create like a blueberry lemon sauce. And then we're going to add one more twist in just a minute. So this is about 1.5 cups of wild blueberries. This is going to be pretty blueberry heavy. I may actually not add all of these. I was going to use a bigger bowl. Those of you that watch me know that I always choose a bowl that's not big enough. And today we're, again, here choosing a bowl that's not big enough. So, that's the way it goes. But I'm going to add, you can see the blueberry juice is literally dripping in. We'll just do all of them. This will be blueberry heavy. it's dripping in. And so that's it's gonna turn the apples a little blue. It's going to kind of make everything like reddish and purplish. Yeah, it's totally working. And again, bowl's too small, but hey, it's okay. Now, the next thing I'm gonna put in is about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now I buy this lemon juice in the jar, in the glass jar. I drink lemon water every morning, and so it's just easier for me to use this than cut lemons. And sometimes the lemons go bad before the week's over. Must not use enough, I guess. So now it's like a lemon blueberry fruit salad. And then our last twist is we're gonna add half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This just really makes it like an adult fruit cocktail. Half a teaspoon. Okay, so this adds like, it's like adulting. It's like that little pinch of pizzazz that you didn't even know you needed in a fruit cocktail. So now it just leveled up from a fruit salad to a fruit cocktail because it is so flavorful and tasty and colorful. The wild blueberry juice, I mean, it's just so fantastic. When I thawed the wild blueberries for the first time the other week, and I just loved that the juice, like, it just is so juicy and fresh, and it makes the salad look so pretty. I mean, that is such a pretty salad. Now, if you didn't want things to turn purple, you probably would just use fresh blueberries. But I really like that blueberry lemon like swirl or mixture that it makes. This vanilla blueberry, I mean, it's just amazing. It's so good. So, like I said, this is it. Like, that's the recipe. It's that easy. It's one of those things that just comes together. You could whip it up at night. I'm going to put it into a container that I can put in the refrigerator, not this one. And I'll eat it for breakfast tomorrow. It'll help me break my fast. It'll be, it'll be some fruit to kind of ease into eating for the day. Like I said, you could put granola with it. You could eat it with yogurt. You could eat it over a waffle or an English muffin. You could eat it with toast. Lori says, hi, Kathy, I'm in Michigan. Yeah, look at all this repping from Michigan tonight. I love it. This is so fun. The other question, so I had a couple other questions. Those of you live, if you have a question you want me to answer, you can drop that in the chat as well. I answered the question about what about interest, motivation, and discipline. So if you're just joining us and you really wanted to hear that, pop back to the beginning of the video once it populates. The other question that came in that I wanted to ask was, how do I overcome snacking? You guys, I was a huge snacker. I wanted to snack all the time. And so instead of trying to overcome snacking, instead of trying to make it something that was bad, I started to really intentionally plan in my snacks. And so I would make things like fruit salads, or I would buy fruit. I would buy little mandarins, and that would be a snack. I would buy baby carrots. I would buy Mary's crackers and make my own hummus. And so instead of making snacking be something that was bad, right? I'm putting air quotes around it because things aren't good or bad. They just are. So instead of making it like out to be this negative, I just shifted my mindset, because here we are again with mindset, into how can I eat more foods? How can I eat snacks that align with my goals? So if your goal is to be vegan, how can you eat vegan snacks? If your goal is to be whole food plant-based, how can you eat more whole food plant-based snacks? So what are those whole food plant-based snacks? So they are fruit, vegetables, fruit salads. You could make you could boil potatoes. I used to boil a bag of those small baby potatoes that are like only this big, and I would leave them in the fridge, and that would be a snack with maybe a condiment like ketchup or mustard or sauerkraut, and just eat it with that. I used to make oil-free hummus, and that would be my snack. And what I found was, as I allowed more of these whole food plant-based snacks to come into my world and into my like space, into my my meal plan, into the foods that I was eating every day, into my habits, the whole food plant-based snacks would fill me up. And it would be, you know, something that's really easy and something that's really good that I could have on hand. I could see Dolores says the Greek pasta salad from the other day keep as leftovers. Yes, the Greek pasta salad from the other day will keep as leftovers. I actually sometimes think pasta salads like that are better as leftovers. The only thing is sometimes I reserve some dressing, so I don't always mix all the dressing in on day one. Sometimes I save some of the dressing and leave it for when I'm going to serve it, or make a little bit extra of the dressing and then save it and serve it. But even the Greek pasta salad, that could be a snack. A regular salad could be a snack. You know, you could make yourself a mixed green salad as a snack. You can have, I mean, there's so many options just thinking about what you like to eat. Maybe you make oatmeal cookies or dates as a snack, or oatmeal bars. We have a granola bar recipe. Hi, Mom. And so, you know, just looking at all these other, like all these things that you could do as the snacks, as the things that you are eating as snacks. So don't look at snacking as bad. Look at how can I eat more of the foods that align with my goals, right? Because if you're snacking on foods that don't align with your goals, they don't align with your goals. But if you're snacking on foods that do align with your goals, then it's just more food that you're eating in the day. The other thing I want to point out is the more whole food plant-based that you eat, the more high fiber, oatmeal, fruits, vegetables, potatoes. Potatoes are very satiating. The more of those foods that you eat, the less you're going to want a snack. So I've been whole food plant-based mostly for the last 6.5 years, so 5.5 years, and I rarely do I actually snack. I don't just sit around and snack. When I know I'm ready for a snack, it's likely because I'm ready for dinner or ready for lunch. And so that's kind of been triggering to me to say, okay, if I'm getting hungry 3 hours after I eat, I either need to eat more when I'm eating, or I need to plan lunch or dinner a little bit earlier, or I need to plan in a whole food snack that aligns with my goals. So awesome. Any other questions for those of you that are live? Let me run through again what we have in our amazing Make Ahead fruit cocktail. So this has in it about 3 of these little mandarins that I peeled and then cut them in half and put the segments in there. And then we have a whole pretty big green apple that I put in, about a half a pound of these strawberries. I might cut these up and put the rest of them in there, or I might just cut these up and eat them. And then we also put in about 1.5 cups of frozen thawed wild blueberries. And what that does is the blueberries have a blueberry juice from being thawed. And then we added to it a couple of tablespoons of this lemon juice, and then the special twist, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now we have this like super colorful, super bright, fresh, yummy fruit salad. It has a nice like juice at the bottom. If you're thinking, gosh, that's kind of juicy, you could add chia seeds. That'll kind of thicken everything up. I actually like it a little juicy like that, so I'm gonna leave it, but I'm gonna grab a fork and give it a taste test, because as you heard Dina say on the video the other day, we have to taste the things that we cook, because if somebody's watching a cooking show, you wanna see us taste it, right? I always forget the taste test. Not that I forget the taste test, but I forget to get the fork for the taste test. So let me put a little bit of that in my blueberry cup. So this doesn't need any sugar. The fruits are naturally sweet. It doesn't need anything else. It just, like I said, it has its lemon, the little blueberry juice, and then the vanilla. What I love about the vanilla is it really makes you think you're eating a dessert, right? Like, it's just so delicious and kind of gives it that fun little pizzazz. I don't know. I should have cut the apples into smaller pieces so that I could taste them. The other thing you could add when you go to serve it is some banana. You could do half of a banana. You could do the whole banana. You could mash the banana, so then it's kind of like ice cream, right? You could serve this over an ice cream. You could freeze your bananas. If you watch the Dina video, she kind of made a nice cream on the video with her Vitamix. And we actually have a couple of nice cream recipes in our cookbooks, and I think there's one even on the YouTube channel. But you could take your bananas that are ripe. These are not quite ripe enough to freeze, in my opinion. I like them spotty. You could peel them, cut them into chunks, and then buzz them up in your Vitamix, maybe a little plant milk, or in your food processor, and turn them into nice cream. And then you could eat this over top of it. It's so good. It was so good, wasn't it? Hi, Belinda. And you're in Ohio. Ah, we're so close. I was just saying I'm coming to you all live from Pittsburgh, back just 40 minutes from where we sold our house 6.5 years ago. So it's always fun to be home, as we call it. So awesome. Any other questions from all of you? I know I answered Dolores' question about the Greek pasta salad. There was one more question, so if you guys want to hang out, I can answer another question. So this is one of those questions that I kind of love because I feel like I'm an expert at this. And the question came in and it was, how do I try meal planning when I don't think I want a meal plan? I was like, some days I don't want a meal plan. And I told my clients in our Successfully Plant-Based call the other day, I meal plan now. It's my way of life. Like, I don't walk into the grocery store without a meal plan and a list. Like, it just doesn't, it's just not, I'm not that person. I'm a meal planner. And so that's the first thing that I would suggest you do, right? Just like I was talking about mindset with discipline, like set a standard.